Today can be the turning point in your life by making a simple decision.
Fundamental questions of navigation. Where am I? Where am I going? And how do I get there from here?
I invite the leaders of our planet to ask themselves these three questions before they make any crucial decisions.
But if you don't make decisions, you're going to stay right where you are.
We are all map makers.
We are in a time of transition.
If we're going to change, we have to change the direction that we're going.
Our planet needs leaders who know where they want to go.
When we change the direction we're going, then we want to make sure we're going in the right direction.
Leaders who can see the big picture.
Because if we're not, we're going to either go backwards or we're going to stay where we are.
Recognizing the psychological and the spiritual shifts and changes that need to be made, often from the inside to the outside.
To be able to shape your future, you have to be willing and able to change your paradigm.
Complex journeys require navigation. The path to the truth is one such journey. This is your GPS. Hairstyling services provided by J.D. Edwards Salon and Spa, Palmdale Shopping Plaza, Ladera Street. Accessories provided by Chevette Williamson Jewelry. Standout jewelry for standout women.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to GPS. Welcome to FM. I am your host, Michelle Malcolm, and as always, it's a pleasure to be in your company today. Thank you so much for tuning in and making GPS a part of your afternoon routine. On today's show, we're going to be talking about the speech from the throne. As you all know, new opening of the Parliament, the new session of Parliament was on Wednesday, yesterday. But yesterday, obviously, around these parts, we do wellness every Wednesday, and I didn't want to break that cycle yesterday. So today, we're going to be talking about the speech from the throne, the contents thereof, and whether or not you should have hope or otherwise. So before I bring my guests back into the studio, let me go ahead and tell you how you can become a part of today's conversation. If you have a question or comment, we certainly would welcome you to call into the show. The numbers to call are 326-0271, 326-0271, 326-0272, 326-272, and the WhatsApp line for messages and calls is 801-0271. That's 801-0271. We are streaming live on Facebook on the official Michelle Malcolm and Global 99.5 FM pages. I'd like to tell you that I'm streaming live on YouTube, but I get put in YouTube jail after doing that show on Tuesday with Dr. McCullough. Surprise, surprise. So we are streaming on the Global 99.5 FM YouTube channel. We're also on Cable Bahamas channel 974, and you can download the Global 99.5 FM app to your smart device and check us out there. And of course, a huge welcome to all of you who are tuned in by way of radio, whether it's from here in New Providence, Grand Bahama, the other family of islands, and the rest of the world. Welcome, 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 welcome. And speaking of welcome, I'd like now to take this opportunity to welcome our guests for today, who are going to help us break down this speech from the throne. And my guests today are the servant leader of the Bahamas Constitution Party, S. Ali McIntosh. Ali, what does S stand for?
Sherelle.
That's a secret, eh?
Yeah, that might be for secret for sweet, but
Huh?
it is Sherelle. It's not
Sherelle?
a secret, Sherelle.
Okay. Sherelle Ali Market. All these years I know Ali, I never knew what that S stand for. Okay. So
Yeah, I
Ali
know my chairman
McIntosh
is
is in the
Jimmy on
house with
saying
us
it.
today. Welcome. Huh?
No, I was just saying my
Say that again,
chairman
Ali.
has revealed it to the world.
Ah, okay. Also joining us today is the one and only C. Allen Johnson. He's a regular on here, so he ain't need no introduction. C. Allen, what you saying?
How you doing? I am hurt. I am confused.
I am fine. I am fine.
I'm fine.
Huh?
Yes. See, I haven't recovered from the speech from the throne.
Wonderful.
Yeah, Michelle. It's
But I hope
it's good
you
to be here,
all
and I
meet up
know
with me,
Cialan has
make
the
a good
information. He is
contribution
a
to today's
computer.
show. I'm sure that you will. It's good what? Say that
No,
again, Ali.
I'm just saying it was good. It's good to be here and to be on the show with Cialan. You know, he's a computer, so he's going to remember all of the things that I don't remember.
Oh. Yeah. I just hope he gives you a word, and because you know, C. Allen can talk.
Oh,
So,
yes, he can.
If you will have your voice heard, you better jump in. That's all I can tell you.
I'm good. I'm
All
good.
right,
I will
guys.
get my
Yesterday
piece in there.
much. Good. I know you can handle it yourself. All right. So yesterday was the much anticipated speech from the throne, and it was historic in that it was delivered by our newly minted Governor General in the person of Cynthia Pratt, known to everybody as Mother Pratt. And I must say, she looked the part. She looked amazing yesterday. But we ain't talking about fashion today. We talking about content and whether or not you guys were pleased with what you heard delivered in the speech from the throne yesterday. Now, obviously, it was also a very somber occasion because, as you both know, we lost Toby Wilshcombe. And I don't know what's going on with Cialan. Okay. We lost Obi Wilshcombe, and obviously they had to pay their respects to the fact that he's no longer with us. It was quite a somber occasion as well. But what I'm going to do to start the show today, I'm going to go ahead and play a clip from the news, which is going to sort of bring our audience up to date who did not have an opportunity to watch it in its entirety yesterday. I pulled a couple of clips from some of the news agencies locally. And so this first clip is going to give you an overview of the speech from the throne. And here is that clip.
Government presenting an aggressive legislative agenda for the historic opening of Parliament today. It was historic in nature as it was the first speech from the throne from the newly sworn-in Governor General Cynthia Mother Pratt on behalf of Prime Minister Philip Davis. She was summoned from Government House following sessions in the upper chamber of the Senate and lower chamber of the House of Assembly. This as pomp and pageantry prevailed on the outdoors. A massive tent stretching from bust to bust in Parliament and Rawson Square served as today's venue with more than 2,000 guests in attendance. Her Excellency, following an inspection of the uniformed branches, delivered the highly anticipated speech from the throne. The new roadmap policy for government focused on a number of critical areas with an underlying theme of preservation and stability of life for all.
My government will continue to intensify its focus on strengthening personal security, economic security, and national security.
Topping the agenda, more jobs for Bahamians was promised as the country's economy continues to expand.
A new unit will be formed to review notice of vacancy processes to ensure that Bahamians have a fair opportunity to apply for all available jobs that are created.
A recent cabinet shuffle made room for more government ministries to be created. And now that the country has a newly appointed energy minister, there are lots of plans on the horizon for energy reform.
My government will therefore introduce the following legislation. A new renewable energy bill that will provide a legislative and regulatory framework for the expansion of renewable energy generation. A new liquid natural gas bill that will provide a legislative and regulatory framework for development of LNG generation.
Authorities also looking to get a hold of crime in country as officials remain up in arms with repeat offenders committing dangerous crimes.
Anti-gang legislation will be brought to Parliament that will provide for stiffer penalties and prison terms for numbers of and acts of criminal institutions and organizations.
What about the cannabis bill? Talks have been on the grounds about bringing this bill to the lower chamber. Could the public expect forward movement from government on this piece of legislation during the second Parliament session?
New opportunities will be created by legislation regulating cannabis and hemp. Several rounds of public consultation have already been completed.
Government's speech also containing plans for infrastructural upgrades in the health sector that are already underway.
My government will build a new specialty hospital in New Providence and will complete the construction of the new hospital in Grand Bahama. My government prioritizes public health, mental health and wellness initiatives, and is moving aggressively to implement the second phase of national health insurance.
Government also looking to prioritize Social Security as part of its plan.
We will provide free access to the internet in low-income communities. This will help to ensure that every student in school can access the internet, so that no child is left behind because of their economic or social circumstances.
In this upcoming parliamentary session, government clearly has a lot on the table as it relates to what they want to do to improve the lives of Bahamians. And so with Parliament reopening today, only time will tell if government gets to tick those boxes before the end of its term.
A report by Eyewitness News. I know that, C. Allen, you have a copy, a digital copy of the speech from the throne. Ali, I know you have a digital copy of the speech from the throne. I have a copy right in front of me right now. So what were your general thoughts? And then we're going to go through this bit by bit by bit. Ali, let's start with you.
Yes, good to be here, Michelle. And yesterday, of course, I was glued. It's good to see you, C. Allen. Always wonderful to be on the show with you. You're going to make up the difference. I'll leave the edges for you. But I was glued to the television yesterday just to see what would happen with the opening of Parliament. As you said, it was somber, so I want to just take this opportunity, if I can, just to give my condolences to the family of Obi Wilchcombe and also the country. We lost a good son. He was a different kind of politician. Of course, you know, I've known Mr. Wilchcombe for at least 37 years. So, and I'm talking about we worked together early in my career at ZNS, before that. And even very recently, we worked with the Ministry of Social Services. So we were there for at least 3 functions in the last couple of months. So I do want to give my condolences for the country, and we are all going to miss him in the country, his voice, his very smart talent that he could speak without paper. And so we really appreciate his ministry to the country. And so I just wanted to do that as we go forward. But if I may answer your question, congratulations to Mother Cynthia Pratt. First time speech. It was read pretty well. I wish to thank her for that. But I want to say that I read the speech from 2021 earlier today, and it appears it was cut and paste and spruced up a bit from the cut and paste. And some of the things that were just cut and paste, could have been done in the very early term. But I want to say a quote coming from a spirited person who says, a lot of times we are concerned about what we have done, but we should be concerned of what was not done. And the things that was not done is the greatest concern. And those are the things that should have been done quickly in order for people to feel the difference in the new government.
All right, C. Allen, let's get your general thoughts before we dive into the details. What were your general thoughts of the speech?
I'll join Ali in extending condolences to the family of Obadiah Wilscombe, Obi Wilscombe, as he preferred to be called. He was not just a friend, but he's also a family friend long before my return to the Bahamas. As a personal friend that we often converse, I'm going to miss those conversations. I would tell you that we have lost a giant in the sense that he understood the basis for what we fought for going back 50 plus years ago. I only wish there were more people in the Progressive Liberal Party that understands the way he understood exactly what the principles were. And I think his expression of those principles was somewhat suppressed for the sake of expedience of power as opposed to purpose. And so that's where he'll be missing that sense. And he's one of two people that I understand from my philosophical belief in what the Progressive Party was founded on. I've heard Alfred said express it, but Obi somehow always tried to lead it. So we'll have a more contribution at the end, after his burial and everything, to express some opinions concerning him and the Progressive Liberal Party. Now, when you asked me, I was watching the speech from the throne with my wife yesterday, and I said to her, see, now this is really well good. Because I was listening to it as opposed to watching it. And I says, look, see, they have Mother Pat doing a summary of the last speech from the throne so that we can at least have a point of reference. And then she says, no, that is the speech from the throne. So I was like, oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was a repeat of 2021. My absolute opinion is cemented in the past and deniers of the future. The speech from throne was lackluster at best and a marketing regime. In fact, Mother Pat, having watched her in Parliament for almost 20 years, 2 decades, I would say even her deliverance, as much as eloquent as it was, it lacked the substantive passion that I think she would normally deliver when she has something to say. So she did her job and read the speech from the throne, and she brought her grace and elegance, brought some value to it. But had you not had Mother Pat reading that simply as one of the members of Parliament reading it, you would have found that it was vacuous at best. And you dressed up 75% failure from the last administration, from the last speech from the throne. I would put you that 75% of the things is left undone. We are beginning the third decade of the 23rd century, and these individuals are bringing forth ideas that we should have abandoned in the 20th century. And I said, there's processes, there's no policies, there's nothing substantive. And I know people say, what you expect from the speech from the throne? I expected accompanying documents to basically say, this speech from the throne will refer you to these documents, these policy positions, these processes that will be implemented, these programs that will be in place, and this is how it's going to be done. Because this is not even a plan. This is a book of ideas, of pages of ideas that has been expressed. I think that we are in deeper trouble than we may think based on them coming back with a 75% failure rate. I guarantee you, if you go and assess the 80-something promises made in the last speech from the throne, less than 25%. 25% of them has been done. So you have a 75% failure, and they're saying that we will dress up the failures and bring them as something else. Just use an example. The Prime Minister is a champion of global warming. And the part of that clip you just played said, we will embrace LNG, a methane carbon dioxide producing gas as a means of generating energy in light of all the other options that we would have. This tells you that this is happenstance, that here there's a guy that's running around the world, declaring himself the champion of global warming to protect the planet, is saying that we're going to go and legitimize methane and carbon dioxide as a means of generating power in a country where sunshine, in a power where ocean tides, in a country where we sit in the tropical, where the wind blows, everything. And it tells you they have no strategy for energy. I mean, vacuous. Landlocked to cemented, not even landlocked, cemented in the past.
Do you think that do you think that the sudden passing of, but before I go there, just for the record, I did reach out to someone who would be able to represent the government's position on this. I got no response. I reached out to them to see if they would want to be a part of the show today, but up to airtime, I did not get a response. So I don't want anybody to think that I'm not trying to be fair with regard to what we discussed on the show today. But do you think that the sudden passing of Obi Wilchcombe may have in some way impacted what did and did not make it into the speech? Because let's face it, nobody saw that coming. And they had already set the date for October 4th to have the opening of Parliament, and then Obi dies. So do you think that had anything to do with the preparation of that speech, is what I'm asking?
If he was the time traveler, because essentially, let's take the 2 weeks that Mr. Wilchcombe has been dead. What has been undone since his death? Did they have this significant amount of accomplishment that they have achieved that's been undone? That Mr. Wilchcombe was exclusively the author of the strategy for governance going forward. He was not the prime minister. He was the Minister of Social Services. Tell me that you didn't get to insert the social aspect, the social safety net aspect that he would lead in policy. But again, understand, Mr. Wilchcombe is part of a collective responsibility. He did not exclusively determine policy, processes, procedures, anything, programs. He did not. He was not a vehicle unto himself. If the prime minister, God forbid, was to go to sleep tonight and close his eyes, are we to say then that we no longer have government? And that's the problem we have. We mourn with the Wilchcombe family, but governance continues. Government is continuous. And so there can be no excuse, no sympathy, except in the death of Mr. Wilchcombe, but no sympathy for incompetence, ineptitude, and inability.
I want to join C. Allen in that regard. Of course, Mr. Wilchcombe is not, if he was the author of what the PLP should be doing, of course, that would be an issue. But however, as I said, the cut and paste is that because this government has a good talk, the PLP knows how to do it, they know how to market. However, the guts, the political will, the actual political action to make these things come to pass is another story. This cut and paste speaks from the throne, obviously, in its lackluster when it was said 2 years ago. And now, almost word for word, even the beginning of the speech, when I saw it, I read it, it sounded just like what I heard yesterday, the very introduction of the speech. And I would assume that should be. But this government simply has no intuition. They don't have any vision. They have a lot of a talk that they get, and they usually amass from all the things people are saying, and they put those things together. And I agree with C. Allen that they have not been accomplished. Simple matters, simple matters. So Mr. Wilchcombe shouldn't have been, his death, although very tragic, should not be a sympathy gather for the country. Because he died, we must look back to the PLP. There is no vision there to look back to. When they prorogued the House 2 months ago, it was because they had no plans. They needed to reset, and they have come back with cut and paste. That's not resetting. Many of the things that they said they would do urgently has not been done. No hospital in Grand Bahama, no hospital in New Providence. I think they say they're going to finish the hospital in Grand Bahama. See, Alan lived there, so he could speak to that. In Abercrombie, the roof has not even been fixed from Dorian. I just spoke to somebody there this morning. That roof has not been fixed. It leaks when it rains.
Okay.
Many issues has not been fixed. So what have they been doing? What have they accomplished? I don't think that we should only worry about what it looks like, what it sounds like, how good it sounds, but the substance is, have they actually finished the agenda, or at least be halfway through the agenda at this point in time? And I don't think they are. I don't think they're prepared to do it, because what they're doing, and they're prepared to give us as much marketing plan as possible, so that we would think, and those who are prepared to accept that will think they're doing something. But I think they've already failed. And we are just wanting a time when we can actually look to a government who's prepared to actually do what they say in a speech from the throne.
Michelle, just let me say that no one in the PLPs knows where Grand Bahama is. The pilot does. They don't. Okay.
Oh. They probably don't know where Abaco is either then.
Oh,
They
boy.
just on the
Okay.
pilot.
Y'all
Michelle.
stop, man. Y'all ain't nice. Okay, let's take this break. We got to take a break. I can try very hard to stay on time with my breaks today. So let's take this break. And then on the other side of the break, we're going to look at more in detail. It wasn't a long speech. It was pretty short, actually. So we're going to look at more in more detail, the way it was outlined, what was said, etc. But let's take this break, and then when we come back, we'll go into specifics. This is GPS, and we'll be back after these words from our sponsors. Stay with us.
Okay. Well, that needs to be better fixed. That's not enough.
Understanding your microbiome, also known as your gut ecosystem, can change everything you thought you knew about nutrition, digestion, immunity, and metabolism. Keeping your gut ecosystem healthy and balanced is essential. Ultimate Microbiome by Longevity was specifically formulated to optimize this ecosystem. It provides the advanced support your gut needs through prebiotic, probiotic, and postbiotic supplementation. Our unique blend of probiotics includes Lactobacillus and Plantarum, healthy bacteria that can help prevent harmful bacteria from taking over your gut. Increasing your gut's population of beneficial bacteria creates a more balanced gut microbiome, which has been shown to aid in weight loss, skin health, sleep, mood, and may even help with seasonal allergies. Ultimate Microbiome also promotes the production of postbiotics. Postbiotics are key to help regulate your gastrointestinal health. To enhance digestion, Digizyme Multi-Enzyme Complex, a blend of 5 specific enzymes, has been added to Ultimate Microbiome. It can help break down food so your body can better absorb nutrients. Plus, we've added our proprietary I-26 Hyperimmune Egg Powder to aid in the elimination of disease-causing gut bacteria and help your body balance its immune response. Ultimate Microbiome, the scientific, proprietary, and holistic approach to gut health that helps optimize your body's entire gut ecosystem. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, the hardest place on the planet for a rim fix and tires.
We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Western, Lux, Fuel, Tracklight, Tough, Rough Racing, Velocity, Mud, All-Terrain, and low-profile tires. Cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king.
Blessed love.
To stay healthy, it's crucial to make sure you get the nutrition you need every day. But it's difficult to get all your recommended vitamins and minerals from food alone. Even in the United States, 94% of people are deficient in at least one nutrient. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 by Longevity is a simple, convenient, and affordable way to help your body get the essential nutrients it needs. It's an advanced plant-driven multivitamin mineral complex that contains certified organic whole foods, trace minerals, and antioxidants. BTT 2.0 supports your body's natural defense system with a proprietary blend of energy-boosting and body-loving nutrients. Plus, prebiotics, probiotics, amino acids, and enzymes that support digestion. With an unusually high ORAC score of 8,000, you get even more antioxidants to help combat free radicals that can cause damage to your cells. But to get the most benefit and value from any multivitamin, your body must be able to break down the nutrients so you can fully absorb them. Otherwise, they'll just pass through your system without doing any good. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 was specially formulated with synergizing cofactors to ensure you get maximum nutrient absorption. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 is the easiest way to give your body the balance and complete daily vitamin mineral supplement it needs for optimal support of your overall health. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
This portion of GPS is brought to you by Tiki Bikini Hut at Junkanoo Beach. Great food, cool tropical drinks, and family fun in the sun.
9.5 FM, Michelle Malcolm here, along with my guests, C. Alan Johnson and S. Ali McIntosh. And we are looking at the speech from the throne that was delivered yesterday. If you would like to be a part of the conversation, that's simple enough. The telephone numbers to call are 3260271, 3260271, 3260272, 3260272. The WhatsApp line for messages and calls is 801-0271, 801-0271. We're streaming live on Facebook on the official Michelle Malcolm and Global 99.5 FM pages. If you want to find us on YouTube, go ahead and check out the Global 99.5 FM YouTube channel. I am jail once again on YouTube for helping to spread the truth, but that's another show. You can also catch us on Cable Bahamas channel 974, or you can download the Global 99.5 FM app to your smart device and check us out there. Huge welcome to all of you who are tuned in by way of radio, whether from New Providence, Grand Bahama, the family of islands, and throughout the world. Welcome back to GPS. So I want to go ahead and play another clip, because from what I'm hearing from C. Alan Johnson and Ali McIntosh so far, they are less than impressed by what they heard from the speech from the throne yesterday. And joining them in that sentiment are members of the official opposition, Michael Pintard and his colleagues speaking to the media yesterday. And quite frankly, based on what they were saying, they too are unimpressed.
What is worrisome about today is that we sat through 60 minutes of recycled ideas and initiatives by the Davis-led administration.
Pintard adds that at least 60 of the 87 promises made in the last speech from the throne were not accomplished.
They added on top of the unrealized goals an additional 63 commitments, some of which, again, were old commitments. We are not confident that this administration, best known for flossing, for flamming, for living large, we are not convinced that they are even committed to those initiatives that on the surface sounds good, based on their track record.
That said, the government failed to address a few key issues he says the opposition was expecting to be addressed in this speech from the throne, namely crime and immigration.
We expect that while the speech from the throne concentrates on legislative issues, it also signals the spirit of an administration and what policy positions they would take and what outcomes they hope to achieve. Those outcomes should be attached to several things. One, how are we going to reduce crime? Two, how are we going to deal with the issue of immigration, not just border protection, but the entire issue of sorting through the many permits that are out there, some granted illegally, the citizenships that have been granted, some illegally, We expected their conversation to address these kinds of issues.
He's also concerned that issues in Grand Bahama were left out.
On the eve of an election that this administration is going to be engaged in very shortly, there was no discussion about a failed airport development, which they have stopped. This administration, despite indicating that it had $400 million in a loan facility, have stopped communicating both with the Bahamian consortium that won the bid, as well as the international partners that are also a part of the arrangement. No discussion about the failed hotel sale and their abysmal performance in Dorian relief. Our worst year while in office and addressing the Dorian concerns is better than their best year. They're not paying the contractors since June of this year who engage in small home repairs. But on the eve of the election, they are running all through West Grand Bahama asking who need to have a house fixed.
And then there's talk surrounding amendments to the Protection Against Violence bill and the criminalization of marital rape.
Government failed to consult on the front end with the very organizations that have for decades addressed the issues of violence against girls and women. And then sought to dismiss them during the debate when we raised the issue. Can you just pause, if only for a couple of days, discuss with the stakeholders the concern, and just return to the House to deal with it? They would dismiss. The persons who they call their partners, they dismiss them.
Now, for the government's part, the speech from the throne highlighted a number of concerns for Bahamians. The government intends to address providing more jobs for Bahamians, healthcare upgrades, family island development, and a cannabis bill, among others.
Say before we dive back into the specifics of the speech from the throne, because like I said, it was a very short speech. But what are your thoughts? I mean, in that news clip just now, he dealt with not just the speech itself, but also the new legislative agenda before the House of Assembly, and said he's quite frankly not impressed. So what are your thoughts as relates to what he had to say before we look at the specifics of the very short speech from the throne?
If I may, Michelle, I agree with the leader of the opposition. As you say, there was a very comprehensive newscast in terms of him dealing with so many issues, but there was no spirit really in the speech from the throne that actually says this is what the government would do, this is what we're feeling. Of course, I always talk about the preamble of the Constitution and bringing that as a substantive spirit in which we should govern. And that did not come through. I think the government seemed to be in a kind of position in which all of the things that are looming over this government is right there. And that is the kind of feeling that I felt. They look like they're waiting for the next shoe to drop. And so I don't think that they gave us something to hope for, because they themselves are actually trying to consider what will happen next with the issues, FTX trial having started, NIGAD trial having started. All of these are issues that are looming over the government. Just the day before the speech from the throne, the Prime Minister denied something that came out in a book called Going Infinite, is that he didn't speak with FTX. And I don't want to go off course. I'm simply saying they did not bring hope in this address yesterday. Mother Pratt was very eloquent. However, the spirit of that speech did not bring anything to the Bahamian people. And what the leader of the opposition say, I agree with him in that regard. And the fact that this government has not been forthcoming, they have not operated in good faith, even with the Protection Against Violence bill. We have spoken and we have worked on the gender-based violence bill for years. I work with almost every women's organization, Women United, Saunter, and we worked on that. Of course, there have been different issues for different objectives of women's organizations, but for the government to totally come and bring the Protection Against Violence bill and throw the other one off the table entirely, I think right there, they are not working in good faith. And I don't think that for the rest of this term, that this government will work in good faith. It's a lame duck government, and we could expect very lackluster anything from them over the next few months or even a year, if they last that long.
All right, C. Allen, let's hear from you.
Michelle, you keep saying that. Are you hearing me? You keep saying that
we can hear
this
you,
government.
yes.
Okay, yeah, I'm having some issues with. I'm using an alternative computer. We keep saying that this government, or the speech was a very short speech. My question to you is, how long does it take to say nothing? So
not very long.
Boy, you ain't easy now.
Not at all.
Okay, so what happens is, I thank the leader of opposition bringing focus to Grand Bahama, more so for West Grand Bahama, and I'm sure that the next dance that we will have will most likely focus on West Grand Bahama, and the fact now that the PLP is there on West Grand Bahama, seeking to do what they have not done since 2004, and it's glad now that it's hard to say that the death of Mr. Obadiah Wishcombe has brought clear and focus to their unfinished work since the twin hurricanes that has been there. You just go to Google Earth and see the number of blue roofs. And the reason I want to put emphasis on that, especially for South Grand Bahama, because we have to make a decision here on Grand Bahama. And Grand Bahama has been said to be the linchpin for the economic recovery of the Bahamas. And I know individuals are going to say that Mr. Obadiah Wishcombe did not serve in the last term. I give credit to Ms. Patricia Edgecombe because she basically had 2.5 years snatched away from her. At the beginning of September, the same period, September of 2019, we had Dorian, then followed by 2 years of COVID. And so we had an economic disaster that hit us exponentially. But if you look at if you want to then now celebrate the governance under Mr. Obadiah Wishcombe on behalf of the Progressive Liberal Party, is that their government for 2 terms that has also failed to do anything for West Grand Bahama. So I'm asking them to not add insult to injury and come and say that you're coming on the record of governance. We have a school that we've been trying to build for 12 years. We have a government center that we've been trying to build for the same amount of time. And it's not, I hear them saying that it's almost complete, just waiting for the furniture, waiting for whatever. Well, I don't know the difference unless the guys are building furniture using concrete and other different things. It seems to me that construction is still going on. And so when you look at Grand Bahama is supposed to be the linchpin, and the government has spent a tremendous amount of time, at least for this year, simply making threats to their partner on Grand Bahama. In that partnership, it requires participation, and basically people, and I'm talking about the Grand Bahama Port Authority, who has governance over Freeport. The government of the Bahamas has governance over Grand Bahama. And anyone knows that I'm no friend of the Grand Bahama Port Authority, and I'm not duplicitous in my nature as others may be. I'm simply saying to you, is I understand their failures or inabilities to do so far. But I'm saying to my government is more so specifically this government who has made so much promise and who actually came to power on the premise that they have the solution for Grand Bahama. The hotel will be sold, the airport will be built, the economy will be stimulated, technology hubs will be established. And in case they don't remember this, they only need to read this document that I found. It's called the Blueprint for Change. And so the government of the Bahamas has failed to bring a comprehensive policy for Grand Bahama. There is no legislative agenda for Grand Bahama. There is no programs for Grand Bahama. There's no economic plan for Grand Bahama. And clearly a hotel where on Grand Bahama, we have a hotel of 1,271 rooms, of which I guarantee you no more than 500 of them are usable at this time or would be usable if I was to go to the government right now and says, yes, $500 million, open the hotel. You could not open that hotel. Mold, mildew, impact of multiple hurricanes on that hotel, etc. is there. It's a fantasy. In fact, that hotel should be taken off the table as a sales point. Michelle, you and I did a show on on fractionalization, tokenization, digitization. And the proper thing for that hotel to happen right now, but this requires 21st century thinking, would be now for us to fractionalize that hotel, tokenize that hotel, and allow Bahamians to own it the way it is. If it has any value, like they said, part of a tourism development plan, you can find 1,271 individuals or whatever number of individuals in a properly executed tokenized plan where government has nothing to do with it. The same way they wouldn't run Atlantis and they don't run Bahama, it would be set up in a sovereign fund or special purpose vehicle without interference by government, a sovereign asset management, and we can tokenize that hotel and raise as much as $500 million for the rebirth and rebuilding of that. We need a tourism product for people. I hear people use the expression that Grand Bahama used to be an industry. Grand Bahama had as much as 28 hotels. If you read the Hospitality Agreement and read its intent, you'll see that there's a social aspect of Grand Bahama and a tourism aspect. And so we've been allowing them to give us a conversation. Coming right back to Grand Bahama, because the reason I'm putting emphasis on Grand Bahama, this is why this is where the leader of the opposition is. This is where the future of the Bahamas is. Unless we get Grand Bahama right, we get nothing right. I talk about economically. You cannot have any more growth in New Providence. You can't brag about cruise ships. The cruise ship is the equivalent of bragging that a bus came into your shopping center parking lot and a couple of people came off and stretched their feet in your mall. That is not economic development. What we need is heads and beds. What we need in Grand Bahama is 20,000 short-term rental units on the ground. What we need is in West Grand Bahama, we have thousands of homes that has been in the same state they have been since the early 2000s. There's no monies on the ground, and Mr. Fred Mitchell often said that there's no monies on the ground because there's no economic empowerment to get people to be able to rebuild their homes. The buildings in Freeport, there hasn't been no major building in Freeport since the 19th century, the bend or break speech. You could barely find maybe 5, maybe 10 at best that will actually get the nod that has been built post the bend or break speech. The Grand Bahama Port Authority has to be brought into its own. But the Grand Bahama Port Authority is not a sovereign country. Is Freeport still a part of the sovereignty of the company, something called the Commonwealth of the Bahamas? It is. All the government of the Bahamas has to do is bring a strategy for the country, bring the 30+ legislation that's needed for Freeport to thrive. You need 30 legislation updating or creation for the things to happen. So-called this digital this and digital that, whatever. Signing these agreements all over the world when you actually, it's equivalent, the government is around the world collecting seeds, the plant in a parking lot. It will not grow. It will not work. Nothing has been done for Grand Bahama. And based on the speech from the throne, I anticipate nothing. Because if you notice, the word Grand Bahama is used one time when they lied. And I'm using the word lied, saying they're building a hospital. What they're doing is they have a build like not even a design for it. It's a concept that they call build as you go. Kind of like how you build a shanty town, no design. If you get some wood, some brick, whatever you build, and it's a clinic. It's not a hospital. Okay, it's been defined as a hospital by design and everything else. And so we need to stop the lies. Just like the Ryan Memorial Clinic that we now call a hospital. Okay, doesn't change the fact that Ryan Memorial Clinic was built from the 60s and it's still remain as it is. We have an education platform that has collapsed in East Grand Bahama and West Grand Bahama. We have a medical system that's practically collapsed. This is mirrored in the Bahamas now. We have a runaway immigration program. We have a social safety net collapse. Okay, and the government has failed to address a number of issues on how do we deal with these things. Promises. It seemingly like they want to continuously call us fool. And like I said to the wife and to the children, if we keep getting clowns, then we shouldn't complain for the circus.
Wow. Could I jump in there for a minute, Michelle? I really appreciate C. Allen Johnson for identifying them. He is in Grand Bahama, so he should know. I did refer to that earlier, the fact that he should know if they're building a hospital. I have a sister live in Grand Bahama. They should know if a hospital is being built.
No, the
speech.
They don't have the money.
I didn't hear you.
They have found enough money to clear the lot. There's no money in the budget. There's no money for anything to build. And this is why they want somebody to come in and they're going to build it as they go. If they find $5, we'll buy some bricks.
But you know, something you said earlier, if I could continue, is that this government loves to live large. They love parties. They love things to be big and looking good. I have no problem with that. But I do have a problem with that when things that should have been done has been left undone. I'm not concerned just about what you have done, but what you have not done. And the fact that the speech from the throne in 2021 started with the matter of Hurricane Dorian, and the COVID, which means if there are issues out of Grand Bahama and Abaco with Hurricane Dorian, it should have been dealt with. I said earlier, the fact that Abaco's clinic is not even done yet. And the member of parliament for North Abaco is in the office of the prime minister. Grand Bahama, you indicated the hotel, the airport, and many other things have gone unfixed. The banks are taking people's house willy-nilly. A lot of Bahamians live in the state of Georgia, where I'm at right now. They live in the state of Georgia. In fact, this might be second Grand Bahama, the amount of people out of Grand Bahama living in the state of Georgia. How long will Grand Bahamians and Abaconians wait for this government, who's been in power for 2 years, to fix the rules, to provide building material, to provide ways for them to begin to really push forward their economy? I know Abaco is starting to rebuild, but a lot of persons, and I heard from them this morning, a lot of persons still lives in homes that have not been fixed. The point is, this government is focusing on talking about 6.2 million tourists coming to the Bahamas, but they're looking at $2 tourists who come on a cruise ship and buy a soda while they're here, rather than heads in beds. That's the quality tourists that we're looking for. Let's get back to concentrating on what the Bahamas' objectives were for creating a new nation. And part of that is so that we can create a nation that has a spirit based on the founders' intent, and also an economy that is going to service all of us. This is not happening under this government. The previous government left us in a shambles. This government is not taking us out because they are more focused on marketing than they are on the actual substantive work of getting the job done.
Michelle, let me say, Ali, I know you are in the state of Georgia. At least you are not like this government in the state of denial.
I'm just visiting. I have family in this area.
But this government is in the state of denial.
Boy. You all ain't easy at all.
I agree.
Okay. All right. So there are some who are supporters of the government, I'm sure, that would argue that y'all are being kind of hard on them. Now,
and I would invite
let me just say that the way that the speech from the throne was,
and I'll invite them on the show to bring the list.
Say that again, C. Allen.
I said I would invite them on the show to bring the list. If the government couldn't provide the list, I don't see how the supporters could.
Like I said, I did invite someone who could speak, I think, authoritatively on behalf of the government's position, but I did not hear back from them by airtime. All right, so if we look specifically at the speech, it was broken up into 3 parts. First part, condolences. Second part, looking at the past 2 years. And the third part, looking at the way forward. And they made sure to remind you of what conditions were like prior to actually when they came into office. So the speech talks about at the time when they came into office just over 2 years ago, the country faced many urgent crises. The national debt had skyrocketed. The economy, battered by a series of lockdowns and curfews, had the worst unemployment crisis in modern history. In our modern history, hospitals were overflowing, with some patients closed, no plans in sight to repair or reopen them. I'm just reading directly from the speech now. Thousands of children were unable to participate in remote learning. Large numbers of people traumatized from the passage of Hurricane Dorian and the experience of the pandemic. And on coming to office, they said that they set a 5-year program and committed to work in partnership with other nations, with the local communities, and most importantly, with the Bahamian people to address the challenges that these crises posed. Now, 24 months later, less than halfway through the term, the government has successfully implemented a significant number of policies, many of which are contained in the government's blueprint for change. So you drop that none of that is true?
No. See, again, let me tell you why I'm beginning to believe the leadership of the Progressive Liberal Party are not liars, They're bullshit artists. Now, let me tell you the difference between the two. A liar know they're lying to you. A liar know they're lying to you. The blueprint for change is not a policy document. That's what they just referenced to. Clearly, if the government has made those accomplishments of the things they made in place, they could have went through them one by one. Let's go. Dorian. We have came in and saw the condition of Dorian. We have repaired houses. We have rebuilt the economy. We've had the grid working again. We have people back in. We have businesses that's restarted. All those different things. They didn't mention those. They're simply saying, look how bad it is, and I want you to imagine how good it might get. Go through every single thing they've said. Is the houses been addressed on Grand Bahama and Abaco? No. Everything is the same. Thousands of homes, thousands of families are still in distress. Okay? Job insecurity, food insecurity. The students, they talk about education. Where have they been captured? I heard the Minister of Education just recently saying that they're still trying to solve the issue concerning the gap that has been further widened during this issue. There's nothing been solved. They cannot give you a list of anything that's been solved. So what they did is they give you a reference point. They can't even give you a statement of exactly how they progress. This is what we allow them to keep getting away with. And I'm simply saying to Beamers, we got to stop this. We are going into the third decade of the 21st century, and we're still having 20th century statements and arguments from our leadership. And I'm saying is that we are a precipice right now. We are a crisis, an economic crisis. The world has been accelerated. What we have is digitization of the global economies. We like to use the word cryptocurrency and data bill and everything else. What we have is artificial intelligence that is accelerating. We have a government that's been talking about a national development plan that expires in every 18 months. Anytime you have a development plan, a business plan, technology doubles almost every 18 months. That means what you did then is no longer relevant. The National Development Plan was a failure when I was chairman of the United Democratic Party. When we challenged the National Development Plan, causing them to pull it back because they did not address a number of issues, including the Millennium Development Goals, okay, nor the Sustainable Development Goals. None of it was in that plan. And so there was a whole lot of things and nothing. You haven't modified the plan. You haven't done anything. I would love for those who are still pushing this plan to come and defend it, that you have a 20th century plan for a 21st century country. You've got to be joking. You've been talking about what's going to happen in Grand Bahama. You've been making an announcement of tech hubs and signing an agreement with Saudi Arabia and Canada and all this different things. I say they will not grow. As a farmer, I am a digital farmer. They will not grow in the soil currently. We have to prepare the ecosystem for these things to happen. They will not grow. They are BSing our people in linguistic. This is what they call intellectual masturbation. It's good for them, and it's good for us to watch, but it makes no benefits to either of us. What we have to have is we have to have a demand for governance, beginning with Grand Bahama. And I believe that this is the time for the opposition to shine. They say this is F&M country. This is the Bahamas, but they say when they say F&M country, they mean in the sense that it means. But this is the time for them to begin to show policies and ideas to build, where individuals such as myself and others want to be a participatory part of it. We saw the previous F&M administration, with all due respect, it's shameful that Mr. Hubert Alexander Minnis actually believed that he's still an option because of the failure of this government and government. I can't believe it. We sent a message to the leadership of Hubert Alexander Minnis. We're looking for new ideas, and if the F&M is even in consideration of that, I'm scared. Ali, you ready?
Yes, listen to me. I am ready.
I'm talking
about ready. We need a team. We need. I understand your question.
I'm saying I'm scared. Okay, You know, those Google other people, they got me scared too. So because we are not, see, what we're doing is we're saying things that is unaccomplishable using 21st century technology. The digitization, tokenization of the Grand Bahama economy can flip this economy in the fastest period of time. I need the 30 legislation, and I would challenge Ryan Pinder, Alcides, the Securities Commission, BISIX, or any of the $70 million worth of experts. And I mean, they do, and I'm saying this, I want Behemoths to listen. You could break wind and the PLP will respond to it, but they cannot seem to answer the accusations I make against them. I said they are out of touch with reality. They do not have the tools that is necessary to build a 21st century country. And we must now look to the opposition forces to put together a team of the collective intelligence of all of us, not no small group. We don't want no more booklet. We don't want no more manifestos and blueprints. What we want is the collective intelligence to show that you could make Bahamians, you would basically set legislation, policies, programs, and procedures and get the hell out of the way. Governments don't build economies. They build people. People build schools. You build people. People build roads. You build people. People build harbors. You build people. People build businesses. You build people. People build businesses. You build people. People build houses. Okay? You build people. People build each other. And this is the parliament. The government believes that they have to build me. I's man. Okay? You don't have to build me. Do what we are requesting of you: legislation, policies, programs, procedures, and move out of the way. And I like to say, it don't matter. Take your foot off my neck.
I want to take a point from C. Allen, and what is so important is that all of the things that you read out and whether they are true. Let's think about it. I deal with statistics. I'm not a mathematician, but I do deal with statistics. We have 60 months in a term. We are now 24 months into that term. That's at least 45%, right? 45% of the time. Have they completed 45% of that agenda that they set out for 60 months? Obviously not. Else people would have felt better about this economy. We just had someone had a fair, a job fair, 300 jobs. I mean, more than 1,200 persons showed up. It might be more than that. So this government is talking about something that is not being said by the people. What did you say?
3,000 showed up.
3,000 showed up for 300 jobs, and they're saying unemployment is at the lowest. How could that possibly be possible? Why would 3,000 people need to show up for 300 jobs if jobs were available, if they were employed, if they were not feeling the pinch? This government do not wish to listen to the collective intelligence of the Bahamian people. We seem to be electing the people who are less likely to do what it is we want and less likely to have the ideas, because they're going along with this show, like C. Allen said, in which they're just telling us these things that are not reality and they're not prepared to do them. How long would this government, I mean, they're talking about the national debt. How far have they extended the national debt since they came to office? They love having parties. They love these kinds of things when people are still hungry. I love to say that because you eat 3 meals a day. And some people are not even getting 1 meal a day. Some people are struggling for 1 meal a day. So I'm telling you, this government, if they do not do what is supposed to be, in fact, we need to just scotch that off. Let's just scotch that off. I'm talking colloquial. I'm going right down to the street level. Let's scotch them off. Let's start fresh, like C. Allen said. And the people in this country who has intelligence, and there is a lot of intelligent people in this country, we need to put all of that collective intelligence together to govern this country. All of this talk and all of this BS that C. Allen referred to, this will not work. This will not work. I am calling on people to stand up and decide, I want better for myself. I want better for my children. Because if you want better for your children, you wouldn't vote for the PLP. And I promise you, the FNM, we just kicked them out of office 2 years ago, and we don't even want to try again with them. There are members in their party who is responsible for a lot of this pillaging of the economy, and we cannot bring them back. We have to find the guts in our own selves to say, hey, I'm prepared to stand up for my country. I don't care that you weren't a politician before. or you want this or that. If you've got intelligence, and C. Allen talks a lot about things that we can actually fix, but they're not prepared to listen to him. But I do believe all of us coming together with our good ideas, our good spirit, the way to get this economy moving so that all of us can eat, that needs to happen. Unity has to happen in this country with the opposition parties in order for it to happen. For those people who want to just continue to figure out who is going to lead, we'll never get nowhere, and we'll keep the PLP and the FNM, and the country will go down the drain. You think about it.
Michelle, before you go to your break, let me just say, this government came
That's a powerful, hold on, C. Allen. That's a powerful statement. No, C. Allen. I gotta take a break. A break. That's a very powerful statement to take a break on. So let's take this break, and then we're going to continue. We're supposed to be breaking down the speech on the throne, but boy, y'all getting all over the speech today. Stay with us. We'll be back after these words from our sponsors. This is GPS.
Global Paradigm Shift will return after this.
Your body's immune system is under constant pressure from things like stress, lack of exercise, and toxins in the environment. It's crucial to be proactive and support your immune system with the nutrients it needs to function effectively. But it's often hard to get these nutrients from food alone. Introducing fast-acting Zinc Plus Immune Support by Longevity. Unlike zinc-only supplements, Zinc Plus Immune Support builds on the proven power of zinc and adds complementary nutrients to give your immune system extra support. Vitamin D helps balance the effects of zinc, while our proprietary blend of natural fruit and root extracts provides the extra help your immune system needs to work against daily stressors. And we've included Longevity's exclusive plant-derived minerals to give your body the minerals it needs, but can't get from food alone. And because Zinc Plus Immune Support is delivered in a great-tasting, sugar-free, berry-flavored lozenge, it encourages quicker absorption of all these nutrients into your body. Zinc Plus Immune Support. Zinc plus the extra support your body needs to promote a healthy immune system. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, the hardest place on the planet for a rim fix and tires.
We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Western, Lux, Fuel, Tracklight, Tough, Rough Racing, Velocity, Mud, All-Terrain, and low-profile tires. Cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king.
Blasted love.
It's gotten harder and harder to get your daily requirement of vital nutrients from food alone. Without additional vitamin and nutrient support, your health and well-being can suffer drastically. That's why Z-Radical was specifically formulated. It combines a blend of antioxidant-rich vitamins, minerals, and botanicals with the protective powers of fucoidan to help fill the gaps from lack of nutrients in your foods. The core of Z-Radical is fucoidan, a naturally occurring polysaccharide that helps stimulate immune reaction, protecting you against inflammation and oxidative stress. We harvest this powerful mineral-rich nutrient from brown seaweed, harvested only from the world's most pristine ocean waters to ensure the purest quality. It's then extracted using cold process technology to ensure maximum levels of bioavailability. Then we add essential vitamins that help to protect your cardiovascular and nervous systems and are crucial for optimal immune and neurological function. Z-Radical also includes a proprietary blend of delicious antioxidant-rich fruits and berries. This great-tasting combination helps your body combat free radical imbalances that can contribute to a variety of degenerative conditions like arthritis and heart disease. Z-Radical. Experience the power of fucoidan with antioxidant-rich berries, 8 essential vitamins, and more to provide you with potent health benefits. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
FM. Michelle Malcolm here, along with my guest C. Allen Johnson and S. Ali McIntosh. We're breaking down and analyzing the speech from the throne. Here's how you can get involved in the conversation. The telephone numbers to call are 3260271, 3260271, 3260272, 3260272. The WhatsApp line for messages and calls is 242-801-0271. That's 801-0271. We're streaming live on Facebook on the official Michelle Malcolm and Global 99.5 FM pages. We're streaming live on YouTube, but on the Global 99.5 FM channel. And you can also check us out on cable, Bahamas channel 974. You can also download the Global 99.5 FM app to your smart device and check us out there. And you can also tune in by way of radio. So a huge welcome to all of you who are tuned in, whether they're here in New Providence, Grand Bahama, the family of islands, or throughout the world. A huge welcome to you all. So we are breaking down, analyzing the speech from the throne. There are several, including my guests today and the official opposition, were saying that they are less than impressed with the speech or the new legislative agenda. So in terms of what the speech did say as it relates to the progress that was made over the last 2 years, it points out that real GDP growth in 2022 was recorded at 14.4%, and GDP in nominal terms grew by 11.9%. And a host of other key economic indicators confirmed that the public finances are being managed competently and well, and that the economy had rebounded strongly, and that the country is now back on the right track. Lady and gent, how do you respond to that?
Again, Michelle, ask them to present you what they did.
Wait, before you answer, hold on, Ciaran. We have a call on the line. I don't want to lose the caller. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Hello? Good afternoon.
Go ahead. Welcome to the show.
Welcome.
Hi, you're on the air.
Yeah, thank you. There are times when I feel like I need to speak. I don't know if it will have a lasting impact, but I just wanted to say there's the speech from the throne and then there's the speech from the street. And if you walk around this island and you see the degradation, then I really don't know how the throne can ignore it, because the country, the children are growing up in environments that are not healthy. One thing the gentleman that's speaking about tourism on Grand Bahama, and I invite you to do your own research. When I was in university, one of the things that we studied was the effect of tourism when it is a main source of economy, the breakdown of tradition and the breakdown of community and so on and so forth. And so it's like trying to tell somebody that drinks alcohol that their liver is sick because they drink alcohol, and trying to tell the Bahamas that the country is sick because they will not move away from a single economy based on tourism, that the more you spread it, the sicker the country gets. It's like preaching in the desert, but again, I say you can do the research. In countries that practice it, they resemble the Bahamas 100%. So there has to be something there, to say, well, okay, how can we mitigate it? Or you have a Miles Monroe that spoke of the Bahamas. The Bahamas is a country with incredible intellectual capacity, and we're not calling on the elders. We're not including the young people. We're making a mess, and then we're leaving and we're saying, well, you fix it. That is not the way it's supposed to be done. We're also in a world that is falling apart because it has moved so far away from natural, balanced, healthy living at all levels, and we yet expect to function normally. It is absolutely nonsensical. And so our children need to be protected from us because we are not taking care of them as we should. And so once again, I say as you battle with words, remember that there are children out there, that we don't have to starve, that it's better to teach a man to fish rather than give him a fish, that if we went back to common sense solutions, that if we asked the elders when they handed us this country, it was healthy, it was functioning, the community was healthy, look to things that worked and try to find a balance. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. Let me say thank her. I have read those reports concerning the impact of tourism on communities globally, and she's absolutely correct. But what happens is those are when you become dependent on the drug. What happens is that we have never, and this is why we have moved so far away from the landmarks. We have not sought to protect our culture or our heritage. This is why we have people coming in telling us what we need for tourism. You need another marina. You need another harbor. You need another island for the cruise ship. You notice that we don't tell them, they don't come to experience us. They come to experience something around us. And so this is where the problem is, that we've not had leadership that seeks to identify what makes us Bahamian and seek to protect those. And the collective intelligence and technology that exists today allows us to actually enhance and to reconstruct the past. You know, we talk about these meta voices and this virtual reality, extended reality, all of these different things. And guess what? She's absolutely correct. If we allow our elders to die with the landmarks, what we used to be and why we believe and what we do, yes, we will then lose it. Because I remember the previous Progressive Liberty administration, they put up a team of people from the University of Bahamas to document the seniors, what they have to say. And I went and asked them, you know, are we going to record what the seniors have to say? Because I sit and talk to seniors for hours and record them. You know what the person said to me at the University of Bahamas? No, we take notes. And in the world of technology, instead of like a senior person sitting there telling you their whole history, they take notes with a piece of paper, and that's how they. And this is it's almost like a joke. And so essentially, we're not building the Bahamas for
we
people.
Have another call on the line.
Okay, go ahead.
We have another call on the line. I don't want to lose that caller. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Hey, good day, Michelle.
Good
Hello.
Day.
Hi, you're on the air.
Good day.
You're on the air.
Yeah. I wanna just say one thing and find out another thing, right? Concerning C. Allen and Ali, right? I listen to them talking about like the government ain't doing nothing, right? The government is not doing nothing. But I listened to C. Allen said something about him and his children and his family. The government got to be doing something because he living good. And Ali living good. But the thing about it, right, Michelle, this is what I want to find out from them.
Well, you know something?
Like there's leaders, right? So if there's leaders, and they know, well, right now they're in the opposition. The Prime Minister just said a couple of days ago that whatever the government is doing now, we need all hands on deck. When he said all hands, he's talking about opposition and people out there what is well and highly educated and have the knowledge of how we could turn around our nation and make it a better nation. And he said the invitation is open for all. His office is open. Why cannot C. Allen and Ali them go sit down with the Prime Minister and explain some things to him what they think he need to do and some things what he don't need to be doing, what their government don't need to be doing. But then
Will the caller identify himself? Is that
No. Let me just say to the caller. I don't need him to identify himself. Caller, are you listening?
No, but you see, you're bashing the government.
Now, before you answer, keep in mind that we have another call on hold. Okay, so
no, I understand that. Caller, can we have a conversation? Can I talk to you?
Yeah.
Can I talk to you? Huh?
Go on, I listening.
Okay. If you want to, I suggest you call Mr. Philip Brave Davis and ask him who I am and our relationship and how we have walked together for well over a decade. I challenge you to find a single member of parliament who don't know who I am or my telephone number. Sir, if you want to see my ideas, go to my social media page and read through the last 2 decades. But let me tell you the best way. Want me to tell you the best place to find all of my ideas? Would you like to know, sir?
No. TC,
No,
it ain't for me.
No, sir. The Prime Minister said, sir,
the Prime Minister made a statement.
No, but I'm answering you, sir. Sir, I'm answering you.
All by themselves, they looking for people like you.
No, I'm saying to you, listen to me, please. Listen to the statement. No, listen.
The government.
They're not.
No, sir, listen to me.
All of us is being in.
No, sir. Ali, let me answer him, please. Just give me 1 second. Let me answer him, sir. I asked you.
I think the
Prime Minister.
I know everybody know you. I know all of them know you. I know you.
I'm saying to you. Listen to me, sir.
I know all of them know you.
No,
what I'm saying is, just the other day, the Prime Minister made a statement concerning the help what they will need from all Bahamians, not just.
And I'm asking you, sir. What is stopping them? Let me ask you a question. What is stopping them from reaching out to me? Let me say one thing to you, sir, before we prolong this. Sir, if you cannot find me on social media, you only need to read the Blueprint for Change to see a lot of the ideas I've expressed before it was there. What's part of the Blueprint for Change? Pick a page. Let me tell you exactly what it is that they were trying to say and what they're trying to do. Are you talking about the human empowerment, the progressive youth agenda, what, a healthy Bahamas, a revolutionary education, rescuing the country, national development, a plan for each island? Are you talking about the blue economy, green economy, new models? Are you talking about their digitization? The green economy, the blue economy? I mean, which one are you speaking about? The 700 plan, the mortgage relief that we bought as part of the UDP?
We have another call on hold.
I'm saying to the caller,
that far. We have another call on hold.
I'm saying to that caller, the Prime Minister is only talking. He doesn't mean it.
Could I respond to the caller? Hey, Michelle, could I respond to the caller?
Real quick, Ali, so we don't lose this other caller.
The caller is a little disillusioned by the government of the Bahamas. The government of the Bahamas is not prepared to hear they are prepared to hear the ideas. They're just not prepared to endorse them and allow people like me or C. Allen to work with them. This book I wrote was released in January, was sent to the Prime Minister with a letter from the Josiah Institute inviting them to use some of the information, the services. I have not gotten a response from the 15th of January, 2022. So he has not responded to say that he has the book, but he has been speaking from the book. If he was interested, like C. Allen said, he would have reached out. My number has been the same for 20 years. It's not changed. My email has been the same. This government is not prepared to govern in the spirit of the founding fathers who asked in the preamble that the values of self-discipline, industry, loyalty, unity, and abiding respect for Christian values and the rule of law be part of how they build a spirit for governance. And they're not doing that. They're just doing their own thing, hearing their own people, and forgetting about the rest of us who's out here prepared to bring something forward.
Let's try to catch this other caller before we lose them. I hope they're still on the line. Caller, are you there?
Oh, my, Miss Malcolm. Miss Malcolm.
Hi.
We're listening.
Yeah. I listened to the speech.
You're on the air.
Yeah, I listened to the Governor General yesterday with the speech. It's wonderful. And I believe that what she have read, if this government could just 70% of that, what she said, they will be in good standing.
How about 50?
They is on the right track. You see, you gotta expect for people on the sideline to pull down and to tear down. Because when they see and they have their own agenda and they see that's their right. That's their right. But for what I can see, what this government is doing in space of 2 years,
I think you heard.
And for more to go, Ms. Malcolm, I am telling you, this government is on the move. And this is the right time for Mr. Johnson and Ms. McIntosh to throw their hat in the run for West End and Bimini so they could make some different changes. But they ain't going to do it. They can't.
So if you want to listen for a second. Let me ask you, Malcolm. Give me 1 second. Listen to me, please. If I was to run unopposed in West End, and I sit in the Hall of Parliament among the PLPs, and we run under a parliamentary democracy called majority rule, and one intelligent person sitting with 36 or 31 idiots, what do you end up with? The majority will still rule. So you need to understand how governance work. What we need is the collective intelligence, not the idiots ruling, the clowns ruling. And so this is where he said I think more like he heard something. But what he has to do is just simply, if he heard the speech from the throne, right? I'm sure he heard them say this: my government's blueprint for change is the platform for which it was elected. It is the mandate upon which it governs, and as such, we are resolved to deliver the program it outlines for short, medium, and long-term growth. 90% failure on this. 75%, they failed to do 75% of things in the speech from the throne, and they failed to do 90% in the blueprint for change. The blueprint for change was not something that we forced upon them. The PLP, you could drop the L. Let me tell you how the PLP came up with the blueprint for change. They kept the P and the P. They dropped the L. Okay? Maybe it came for lousy, but here what the P stands for. They pirated, P-I-R-A-T. They pirated other people's ideas, and they parroted, P-A-R-R-O-T, repeated it, parroted it to the people, and we fell for it because we were so fed up and tired of the incompetent authority being governed and dictated to from someone in that respect. And so essentially we wanted anything but menace. And so we got promised transparency, accountability, integrity, anti-corruption, freedom of information, and all of these things. This government has been the most anti-transparent, anti-accountability, anti-integrity, the most corrupt in its behavior, and absolutely against any freedom of information. They have totally disregarded. See, people have to understand the role of the opposition, and it's not to oppose; it's government in waiting, and they have disregarded the pact to which they cried about under Hubert Alexander Menace. The very same leaders, they cried about it. They have refused to be accountable. They have not given accountability for any of the contracts they've signed. They have not given accountability for anything. It's shorter for them to say, here's the list of things that we've been accountable for. Here's the list of things we've been transparent about. It does not exist with this government. This, when it comes to the transparency index, the freedom of information, the integrity index, the anti-corruption index, and whatever else, this government is not even on the board. Okay? And the question we have to ask ourselves, why are they afraid of the pact? A legitimate aspect of governance that I am sure in 2025 or sooner, they will be sitting in that position, or there will be a collaboration of individuals in that position of opposition, and you want the respect that you would be given right now. This government seemingly have something to hide. They have started out wrong, and they've accelerated wrong, and now they've came back with a speech for the throne and doubled down on wrong. And that's actually what it is. And if the blueprint for change, this is their speech from the throne. Just go to the blueprint for change and look at the promises made for Grand Bahama, a new thing for every single island, a progressive youth agenda that deals with the youth, to fix the our culture, our heritage, a prosperous Bahamas, to digitize. Oh, we can have STEAM. We can have high school innovation centers. We can have a green entrepreneurial thing. We're going to reform the broadcasting thing. We're going to transform BAMSI. We're going to create a new maritime academy. If you could go through the blueprint for change and ask them, where have you made the invest? Where's the invest program? Okay, where is these things they say going to revolutionize? We can have commercial banking licenses so behemoths could be involved. We can have absolute crown land reform. We can have food security, energy policy. There's not this government cannot name you. And though they reference the blueprint for change, I put to you that this government cannot name you one single policy they have published during their term. The Prime Minister himself said 4 years for governance, 1 year for campaigning. That means they are 50% through their term. Okay? They promise homes. Where's the homes for Bahamians? I'm not talking about these things they build. The government policy should be stimulating businesses and individuals in the construction industries and otherwise to be going out there and building homes. Where is that policy that has anything to do? Don't tell me that you have some land, you're taking over illegal loans and whatever to do, whatever it is that you want to do. This government has lost its way.
Let me interject in there, C. Allen, and you are right on track with this, because the caller said that they were so impressed that this government is on track. This government has taken the information from all of the intelligent people like us out here, put it in their blueprint for change. They speak it in the speech from the throne, and they say it. They will not work with us because they know that we are prepared to actually do it. But they know that they can collect and select persons who are prepared to just sit there and let them do it. And I know everybody is not that way. But the fact is, the thrust of this government is to be as nice and beautiful as possible, impress people who aren't able to see that they have not actually done it. Mr. C. Allen, as we know, is I would call him a statistician. He keeps up on what has been done and what has not been done. But all of the information that has been brought forward by this government, we agree with. It is just that this government does not have the collective spirit to do it. They are not prepared to bring it to pass. They're prepared to say it. So persons like the caller can be overly impressed that they're on the right track. We have no problem with that. But we are prepared to actually do what they say they are going to do. And unless the Bahamian people can listen to the statistics that says 45% into this term, probably have 50% into this term, based on what C. Allen just said, and they have still not fixed the clinic in Abaco. They don't have a suction machine like somebody is saying. There is not enough doctors in Abaco. People are still living in homes that are not repaired in Grand Bahama and Abaco. The point is, if you touted in your speech from the throne in 2021 that we are coming out of the worst crisis of Hurricane Dorian and COVID-19, then why haven't you fixed the problems of Dorian? Why haven't you fixed those little problems, which are big problems for the people in Abaco and Grand Bahama? So when we're talking about being impressed, what are we impressed about? The people in Abaco are not complainers, and that's why they are not making noise every single day. But I promise you, they live in a situation that requires attention by this PLP government. So don't give me these things that sounds nice and flashy. Tell me what you're going to do for the people in Abaco and Grand Bahama while their economies are dying.
Right, but Michelle, here's what happens, right? The PLP used to be.
We have to take a break, Seattle. Okay. We have to take a break.
Okay.
We have to take a break. So let's take this break. On the other side, we're going to continue talking about the speech from the throne. C. Allen Johnson and S. Ali McIntosh are here giving their analysis of the contents thereof and whether or not they think that we should have hope for the rest of this administration's term. So far, according to them, it doesn't sound too bright. It sounds kind of bleak. But we're going to continue to talk about it, and you are free to join in on the conversation as well. So stay with us. We'll be back after these words from our sponsors.
Global Paradigm Shift will return after this.
At Lee Air, safety is our #1 priority. Flying since 1996, we offer scheduled flights into Fresh Creek and Mangrove Key Andros and Great Harbor Key, Berry Island, twice daily, 7 days a week. Affordable charter services are also available to anywhere in the Bahamas and the Caribbean. Lee Air Charter Services. Call 225-3267, 702-7127, or 322-1317 for reservations.
Understanding your microbiome, also known as your gut ecosystem, can change everything you thought you knew about nutrition, digestion, immunity, and metabolism. Keeping your gut ecosystem healthy and balanced is essential. Ultimate Microbiome by Longevity was specifically formulated to optimize this ecosystem. It provides the advanced support your gut needs through prebiotic, probiotic, and postbiotic supplementation. Our unique blend of probiotics includes Lactobacillus and Plantarum, healthy bacteria that can help prevent harmful bacteria from taking over your gut. Increasing your gut's population of beneficial bacteria creates a more balanced gut microbiome, which has been shown to aid in weight loss, skin health, sleep, mood, and may even help with seasonal allergies. Ultimate Microbiome also promotes the production of postbiotics. Postbiotics are key to help regulate your gastrointestinal health. To enhance digestion, Digizyme Multi-Enzyme Complex, a blend of 5 specific enzymes, has been added to Ultimate Microbiome. It can help break down food so your body can better absorb nutrients. Plus, we've added our proprietary I-26 hyperimmune egg powder to aid in the elimination of disease-causing gut bacteria and help your body balance its immune response. Ultimate Microbiome, the scientific, proprietary, and holistic approach to gut health that helps optimize your body's entire gut ecosystem. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
For all your building needs, it's Carib Construction and Project Management on Gladstone Road. We build it all: schools, homes, hotels, and more, including structures requiring a Phase 3 electrical contractor. We also provide project management services. The first step towards your dream building begins at Carib Construction and Project Management. Call us at 376-1556 or 341-4466.
One of the things I love about the mailboat is their relationship with Bahamas Air. I can earn travel points on my international freight and redeem them when I fly.
For me, online shopping is easy, with Mailboat's U.S. addresses and regular freight delivery to Nassau. Plus, I can always prepay customs and freight, and they always notify me when my package arrives.
Yeah, a lot of people think the Mailboat is just for shipping, but they also offer a safe and secure storage facility at affordable rates, all in a central, convenient location.
We also offer passenger service into Freeport multiple times per week with a seating capacity of over 450 persons. With family movies on large screens, one hot meal included, and on-board lounge for snacks and soft drinks. We're the Mailboat. We're bridging people, products, and places.
Executive Printers is your one-stop shop for all your branding and customization needs. Letterheads, envelopes, business cards, invoices, share and gift certificates, rubber stamps, vouchers, funeral programs, brochures, flyers, banners, and promotional items like mugs, water bottles, mouse pads, and key rings, all with personable service and great quality. No project is too small or too large. For great turnaround and competitive pricing, make an executive decision. Call us at 393-5011.
Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. Michelle Malcolm here, along with my guest, S. Ali McIntosh, the servant leader of the Bahamas Constitution Party, and the critical thinker, C. Alan Johnson. And today's show is all about an analysis of the speech from the throne and, by extension, the new legislative agenda now that the House of Assembly is back in session. Now, one of the things that the speech from the throne did say is that in the next phase of the administration, the government will continue to intensify its focus on strengthening personal security, economic security, and national security. And the speech goes on to give details about how it plans to do those three things. You both have had an opportunity to review the speech and the plan. And I want you to think about your thoughts on that, but we do have another call on the line, so let's go to the call first. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Good day, Ms. Malcolm, and to Mr. Johnson and Ms. McIntosh, and to the listeners all over the world.
Yes, proper. He's there. You go ahead and speak.
Hi, welcome to the show.
Hello?
We can hear you.
Okay, sound like Michelle, she can't hear me like how you all hear me. Okay, good afternoon, Ms. Malcolm and Ms. Johnson and Mr. Johnson and Ms. McIntosh. I believe a lot of listening to the speech and stuff doesn't take away where us, the Bahamian people, still have a lot of questions we need answers for. And every time we remind them of the questions or it's asked, it might be asked by the opposition or people in government might have pointed out to the Bahamian people for us to know the information. But they try and mix it up to say we're speaking on behalf of the opposition, the Free National, but we're not speaking on behalf of them. we really feel like those questions should be answered. For instance, Ms. McIntosh, if you could, and I have a question for Mr. Johnson quickly. Ms. McIntosh, what become of the lady up by immigration, the director who reported that the former Minister of Immigration was not doing things in order, and the trip to Bermuda? Is that something what does the law say about it? Because is that something what the Prime Minister or the office of the Prime Minister can do and pay back later? Or how it's supposed to be? They pay half or something? And should we already know if the bill was already paid? A question for you, Mr. Johnson. Listening to the news report, and they talking about the FTX with Mr. Sam Bankman. When it was reported on the news, the office of the Prime Minister saying that the meeting never happened with Mr. Bankman, where he offered to pay off the pay off our national debt. And it sounded funny to me. I don't know if I was the only one. It sounded funny too. Why would you? Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Papa.
Yes, ma'am.
Papa. Could we stay focused, please? Tomorrow is Friday when we have open line and we can discuss all them things. Today we're talking about the speech from the throne. The legislative agenda.
Maybe C. Allen could be there tomorrow, maybe, and he'll remember and then he can answer. Because
I remember. No, I'll tune in tomorrow for open line, right? But Michelle.
Yes, but before you, see Allen, before you go, right? I want to now, Ms. Malcolm, check on the point, right? The point is that a lot of the questions what was there on the table for the government to answer before they prorogued the government. Now they open it up back up yesterday. We still want answers. We still want answers. We will know what they do to the director if they send her home. We will know if they pay the bill to Bermuda. All of them was questions before. So I mean, in my opinion, it seems like it's a part of the speech of the throne yesterday, and they was things what was missing. But I wish the government luck, because if the government do good, we do good. But I don't know if I don't think the Bahamian people really feeling them, and I think the Bahamian people want to see the backside of this government, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, Michelle, thank you, Proper. Michelle, I think what Proper Acts does come into this transparency, accountability, integrity, and freedom of information that was promised by the government that's not delivered. They're still promising the same thing in the speech from the throne. Those are questions that he has, that he wants answers to. And what we have is marketing answers. You have a confidence man that come into the country, and if we believe all the other things in the book is true, then why do we believe the one thing that the Prime Minister seemingly denied? Because first you got one that says it didn't happen, another one says it was not entertained. I mean, if it wasn't entertained, it was that. You got a confidence man that basically flim-flam the flim-flammers, and essentially you're going to find out the truth of it as this trial goes on under bankruptcy, freedom of information. We want to know why are we listed as part of the bankruptcy part of FTX, and the government has not come clean on that. The government haven't provided any receipts. They talk about the transparency accountability. They haven't provided the receipts for us to prove that Bermuda's been paid. We have nothing to have done. And when they try, and this is what they try to do, they try to pair us against each other. And what they do is they say, if C. Allen asks a question, he's speaking for the FNM. No, the FNM is speaking for me. They are expressing questions that I have on the table, and that's what they're supposed to do. But they try to create this tribalistic type environment. And this is why, when you try, and they use an example. For me personally, the speech from the throne where they make this promise for personal security, economic empowerment, and everything, I don't think even in the West Grand Bahama, the government should be shamed. They should not even offer a candidate, considering the promises that they made to us concerning what they're going to do for Grand Bahama. Let's go for the speak for the throne. You said a master plan in consultation with stakeholders for the future development of the island. That's for Grand Bahama, that's for Abaco, that's for Again Island. A shelter, home repairs that haven't been done since for 15 of the last 20 years under the PLP. They said we'll partner to assist the basic needs of residents, food, clothing, essential home appliances, something that's not been done. I know the opposition, the Free National Movement has been trying. They promised us a new hospital. They broke ground, the exact same ground. No, they give that away. They broke ground next to where they broke ground the last time, promising us the hospital. Now they're building a clinic, and we don't have any money, any allocations in the budget for any clinic. They're looking for a PPP to build it. We have an airport that's been promised that we said that we got a loan for. Remember, in the early part of the year, that we came back with the $400 million for the airport. Then it became $200 million, and then it became for all the islands. And now we are in negotiations for a timeline. I mean, isn't that part of when you award the contract, a timeline, all of those things have been done? We have these mysterious buyers waiting on the hotel, and we can't tell you until they find their money. I mean, didn't they come to the table with the money that you could verify that they have it? And so you have these home repairs, you have hurricane impact, thousands of homes, all of these different things for Grand Bahama, for Abaco, and for Ragged Island. Then you have the Bahamian economy. And people, and just to clear up what I said about the national thing, if the government had a plan for Grand Bahama, it could then put pressure on the Grand Bahama Port Authority to exist. But we have to understand that the Grand Bahama Freeport is still in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, which the government is responsible for. And what happens is the only businesses that the Port Authority needs to be concerned about is those that want to partake of the benefits of the Hawkesbury Creek Agreement. There can be businesses located in Freeport that don't want any to partake of anything of the Hawkesbury Creek Agreement, or any vice versa combination there is. So the government can't demand a plan from the Grand Bahama Port Authority when it has none for itself. And I'm saying to the government, please let us develop a plan so we can then move to the Grand Bahama Port Authority and hold them accountable under the tenets for which we passed into law called the Hawkesbury Creek Agreement. We don't want no wishy-washy. We want to have a conversation. You know, let me just short this part. The Hawkesbury Creek Agreement for Freeport is an agreement between all Bahamians across the continent of the archipelago of the Bahamas. In fact, across for the individuals that's not in the diaspora, the Grand Bahama Port Authority and the licensees. So that means we should be having conversation with the three of them. And I want to say to the Progressive Liberal Party, more so Philip Davis, Prime Minister Davis, governance without the consultation with the government is considered slavery. Governance without consulting the government is considered slavery. Please do not treat us as slaves. We will reject you. So if you want what's to happen for Freeport to happen, let's hear from Ali.
Let's hear from Ali C. Allen.
You know what is interesting, Michelle and C. Allen, and you know, C. Allen has a lot of information, and I appreciate that because people need to know. However, this government saying that they are intensifying focus on personal, economic, and national security. I mean, I just had to laugh because their legislative agenda saying that this is what they are going to do when we can't feel anything. They talk about the high cost of living. Why are we not addressing that? We have free sun, so if we wanted to go solar a long time, we should have brought in and we should have put solar as part of the agenda, not only for BPL, but for regular persons. Crime, the backlog of the judiciary. They got to be kidding. I watched on the television and they were introducing a case, I think in the United States on President Trump. And the amount of information that was brought forth only in the introduction. We a lot of times come to court. That is both the prosecutors sometimes, and they don't have enough information. They just decide, oh, we can't proceed. Let's send the date back to another time. How many times? How far is this going to go if we are not having proper preparation for court cases in order to get it done? A lot of these persons in the government are lawyers, including the government, the prime minister himself. We are not doing what we say. They are not doing it. We don't trust them to do it any further because they have taken our collective intelligence, put it in their blueprint for governance, and now they're governing how they want. The point is, if we are going to have faith in a government, it must do what the commitment is regarding the Constitution. The party that I represent, simply represent the Constitution. That preamble says that we must work through self-discipline, industry, loyalty, unity, abiding respect for Christian values, and the rule of law, and the people must never be brought back to slavery, based on where we've come from, and that we respect those tenets of the supremacy of God so that when we govern, we are governing according to good values like accountability, transparency, integrity, the Freedom of Information Act. You know how long we've been calling for it? They put it in place, but they're not doing it. Because if they did, the information that we need, the information the callers are calling for, would be right out there to be had. But this government does not wish to govern in the spirit of the Constitution. We cannot trust them. We do not trust them. The government before them is the same thing. There are cases before the court with members of both PLP and FNM sitting in the court. I called for them to resign. They must resign. They cannot sit in that parliament. And whilst we can't even get the relevant information in terms of this. People who come to office to pilch, what's the word? To rob the public treasury.
Pillage.
We must stop that. And the Bahamas Constitution Party and all who desire to represent the Constitution of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas to take care of the Bahamian people needs to now stand up and say, we're prepared to unite and make that happen. As long as we continue to go back to the PLP and the FNM, when they are not committed to the Constitution, the primary government, the primary document that governs this nation, we are never going to have good governance. So the people got to decide for themselves, what are you going to do? You want to continue to say, oh, that sounds beautiful, or you want a government that's prepared to do the work for you?
Take the call up.
Okay, we have a call on the line, but before we go to the call, I want to read a comment coming in on WhatsApp. It says, Michelle, your guests are spot on. The caller obviously has no clue of governance. This is expected for persons like that to call in and say stuff like that if they're on the right track now, presenting basically everything they presented from they first came to office. Where were they during the first 2 years? Oh, yes, traveling the world and returning with nothing to share. That is a message that came in on WhatsApp. We have a call on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Good afternoon, Ms. Malcolm, and to your distinguished panel. Ms. Malcolm, hello?
Yes, we're listening.
Hello?
We're listening.
Oh,
yes, we're listening. Go ahead. You're on air.
Ms. Malcolm, I do remember the first cabinet meeting of Mr. Philip Brave Davis. He came out of that meeting and his entire cabinet had given him carte blanche, meaning that he can do anything that he wishes. And what is so surprising, Mrs. Malcolm, is that none of them will speak in opposition of Mr. Davis if he's doing wrong, because he promised each of them allegedly $50 million. Now, Mrs. Malcolm, when we look at the situation in the country as to where we're going, the things that irk us Bahamians is the fact that we have to take care of many illegals. All the illegals in this country must go home. We don't need to keep them here. We don't need to send them to school. We don't need to do anything. We need to simply pack them up and let them go where they belong. We can no longer afford to do this. I was hoping that Mr. Davis, when he got when he won the election, that he will pass a decree that all iconic Bahamians will be protected, and that's from the Governor General to the local government level. And that is not happening. So now we are caught up in the block. So where do we go from here? For the first 50 years of our existence, we trusted our politicians. Well, as we go forward in these 50 years, I will not be around because I'm 75 years old. The fact is, whatever I can do to ensure that the children behind me, my grandchildren, great-grandchildren, etc., will have a place where they call home, and they can come and make their contribution and be not afraid, but be a part of the building of this country as it ought to be. Thank you, Mrs. Malcolm.
Thank you so much. But Ms. Malcolm, again, this is policy positions.
All right. Ali and C. Allen, I need your response to be fairly quick because we're running out of time. Go ahead, C. Allen.
Michelle, yeah. What I'm saying, again, these are policy positions on immigration.
Go ahead, C. Allen.
These are policy positions on immigration. What are we going to do about immigration? I know we cry about about international agreements that says that we should provide health care, we provide education. What people don't tell you about that agreement is it does not have to provide free. It says you will provide access to. And so we have become a country for which socialization of individuals from the South. A policy position adopting technology that we've been trying to do since 1968. I want people to know the first digital attempt began in 1968 with Selenium Opinion as the premier. And we have not been able to digitize anything yet in government, less not in the economy. I want Bahamians to do this. If you believe that you have a country to save, then you must be prepared to fight for it. Do not allow them to ignore individuals like myself. Don't allow the talking heads to say as if though we don't want to work with government. We are arguing that the government for the people should be by the people. And if they are who they say they want to be, if they, especially this government, if they believe in the philosophy of the PLP, let me correct it, because none of them know the philosophy of the PLP. They are the PLP party. But we as Bahamians must remember where we are. 1973, our GDP was $600 million with 200,000 people. Today, we got a $16 billion GDP with 400,000 people. We own less homes, less cars, less banks, less everything. I say it's time for Bahamians in this 50th anniversary to lay claim to the ownership of the Bahamian economy. Technology now allows you to break the chains of limitations that has been put on you. You have access to billions of dollars in capital, and you could reach out to individuals like me. We could go step by step on how we, and it's not an individual, it's we as a collective must do this. And we can take ownership of this economy, and then we can choose the next government coming in that does what we want, because we would have set the blueprint. We would have set the manifesto for which they would have to continue. Economic power is power. Do not let them confuse you with education. Education will empower you. Empowerment will demand education. We can and we must take possession of this power.
I've got to treat that as your final word, Sienna. We're running out of time. And I want to get Ali's voice in here. But I want to read Ali. I want to read a comment coming in on WhatsApp. Before you respond, I want you to respond to this. It says, "Good day, Miss Malcolm. Can't we as a people give the government at least until January? Because we as a people just pull them down before anything happens. Let's have some hope. If they don't do anything, then you know how we as a Bahamian people go, we vote them out." How do you respond to that, Ali? And this has to be your final thought because we only got 2 minutes left in the show. So I'm giving you 1 minute to respond to that.
I will conclude with how I started, that we are more concerned with what have been done. But what about those things that have been left undone? And sometimes the things left undone is the most important things that we should be concentrating on. I usually, after an election, give a government at least 24 months. It's 24 months. And we have seen the complaint, the desire of the Bahamian people to prosper. The government has not legislated. They formed a national Ministry of Natural Resources, but they have not made legislation that monetize it and that cause the Bahamian people to prosper. They have removed the Sovereign Wealth Fund that was set in place for the Bahamian people to prosper. Without a sovereign wealth fund, there is no legislative authority in which this money can be shared with the Bahamian people. That is the problem. So the things that they have not done is to empower the Bahamian people to prosper. They are out of time, and they're out of time because they have not done what they should have done, which is to make certain that the engines for economic empowerment of the Bahamian people be the first engine they start up, not what it looks like. Not how well we can party, but that the Bahamian people can prosper. I will say, like I said before on other shows, people out here, still hungry.
All right. Speaking of out of time, we are out of time. I want to say thank you to both of you for coming on the show today and being a part of this healthy discourse as it relates to the speech from the throne and the new legislative agenda. What can you say? We have to continue to watch and hope that they are able to, in the second half of their administration, complete even more of what they intended and laid out for us all to see in that blueprint for change. All right? Because let me tell you, when they fail, we all fail. When they succeed, The idea is we all succeed. A rising tide raises all boats. So regardless of the government in power, we got to pray for the success of this nation. I want to thank you both for being here today. It's 4:00. We got to get out of here. I'm Michelle Malcolm. Tomorrow is the Open Line Show. We're going to talk about the week that was, and you are free to call in and let's talk about it all. It's a lot to cover. Until then, thank you so much for tuning in. Enjoy your afternoon, everyone.
Global 99.5 FM reminds our listeners that the views and opinions expressed on this show are those of the host and guests and not necessarily the opinions of the owners of Global Communications Network and the operators of this radio station.
This is 99.